Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. It's Sunday night, so it's time for the live Q&A. So we've got a number of people in the live chat. Let me know if you can hear me. I always like to check it. So a big hello to, I see Mike, we see Mick, I see we got Joshua, we've got Johnny, we've got quite a few people in there, so that's great. So I'll be jumping into that in a bit. But yeah, hello. So this is good. So we've got lots of people in. We've got lots of questions today. A lot of information coming off of the investors call earlier this week. So we've got quite a few bits and pieces. So it's always a good thing. So that means I will be jumping into some of the questions. I'll be doing a page of each of the questions and then jumping into the live chat. If you aren't already a member, you can become a YouTube channel member, or you can become a patron, and these questions can be put in advance. And as I said, we have the live chat going on as well. Become a member from as little as $2, and it helps pay towards the podcast, the YouTube channel, the website. There's a lot of fees and stuff that goes into it, hosting fees and software and bits and pieces, and it just helps support all of things and just kind of moving on. So let's jump into the first questions. So Joseph asks, even though Fall Guy and Shang-Chi are going to cinemas, is there still a chance it could still go to Premier Access if Black Widow does well? Now, they have said that they've signed a 45-day exclusive window for both of these movies. So that kind of says if they've done a deal, then... But there's probably some ways they can get around it. There's some ways that they can kind of jump in and move things around a little bit. I'm sure, they will do that because ultimately... it comes down to money. To me, we've got this whole thing with it's really going to depend on how good cinemas are by them. If Black Widow does well, I think that's going to change it. There might be a way that they can get around it. Free Guy is a little bit different because if they put it on Premier Access, they can't send it straight to Disney Plus like they can with other movies because they've still got the whole HBO deal in the US, and that kind of throws a curveball. They could do it internationally. But they probably might. I think Free Guy feels a little bit like the idea of maybe that's the one they're going to see if it can work. See what the box office is doing by then. With more people being vaccinated, more people going out. But there's still some problems. Like I think in Canada, there's still some issues. New York, if you've still got to wear a mask when you're sat in the cinema. I know we're having currently a problem with the like the Indian variant that's doing is just spreading a lot faster. So things that can knock off what's going on. So I think things can still change. So as far as that goes, I still think that could be an issue going forward. Gavin asks, are you surprised that there was no announcement for Western Europe that were made during the investors call? Well, they confirmed that the Malaysian release is going on the 1st of June. They also announced that Thailand is getting Disney Plus on June the 30th. So they did announce a couple of things. As far as Western Australia and other regions, I'm surprised they didn't do a little bit more. I think it would have been a little bit more bullish. The stock market didn't really like what was going on there with kind of... But maybe they're just holding back to kind of push a bit later on. I also do feel like the whole winter we've been in a situation where, if they needed to come to these countries to do deals, sort out infrastructure, work with Amazon, etc. on their servers, that advertising campaigns, all that kind of stuff all had to be done, and maybe that was something that's kind of slowed down a lot of the rollout. That's my gut reaction, as I feel like COVID has kind of had an instant thing. Gavin also asked, with Big Sky renewed for a second season and already announced to be on Disney Star, will we see more of a closer drop between episodes in the US and Disney Plus star dates? I hope they do. I really hope they do. I would love to see them do a little bit more of that and get things over to us a little bit quicker. They've done it in the past. I know like Sky will have things on the next day. I don't think that's too bad. I just think, it's like Love Victor, for example, season 2. We're getting the first episode a week after America, and then we're going to get episodes dropping weekly. So the final, which is episode 10, will arrive nearly 3 months later. So I know there's some people that are going to end up watching that one through other methods because they don't want to have it spoiled. It does feel a bit wrong. Like, well, you can put out Loki and Bad Batch and everything day and date, so why can't they do it with Disney Plus? I think a lot of it is trying to work out how it's all working with their releases and stuff. I'm not so keen on how they're doing it at the minute. I think it could be a lot quicker, a lot better. I don't know why we had that break for Big Sky. I think we would have been fine with that one. I think that would have been a much better way of doing it, but yeah, it's a bit of a pain with it. I wish they were a bit quicker. Right, let's jump now into some of the live questions. See what we've got going on here, and also if you aren't a member, you can do so to become a join in on the chat. You can also use super chat as well to jump in with a question as well. Okay, so we got a few ones there. So everyone's saying hello, listening to some Star Wars music. I would do, but I would probably I do listen to Star Wars music actually when I'm doing a lot of editing, so that does help. Yeah, so listening to a playlist on Spotify for that. Okay, so Mick has been watching the MCU in timeline order, so he's going to be watching Iron Man 3. Okay, so the random movie fan is, will Family Guy come to Disney Plus Latin America, since in Latin America we have Glee, Single Parents, Baby Daddy. I would think now that you're more likely to get it on Star Plus, to be honest. Johnny asked, do you think that the Aftermath could land on Disney Plus in the summer of this as they missed the original? I would hope so, because I know it was supposed to be, but it didn't arrive. So I'm hoping we should. I'm guessing this now we're in this next week we're going to get the run of the June releases. So we'll get probably the US either tomorrow or by the end of Wednesday. I would imagine we'll find out the US list, and then the Canada list and the UK list will probably all be dropping this week. So I suspect we will find out an idea if things are coming in June this week. Joe asks, how many days in the cinema will the Night House be? Well, this past week there was a deal done with Cineworld that they have got 45-day windows, which seems to be the new system that they're working on, the 45-day window. So I'd imagine 45 days before it then can go somewhere else. Whether or not that's Disney Plus or my gut feeling is kind of maybe thinking like premium rental. They might do that for a little bit. Try and get some extra cash that way before sending it to Disney Plus. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if it's on Disney Plus within 3 months or 4 months of it being released, that's far better than it was back in early sort of 2020 and 2019, not 1919, 2019, where we were waiting 6 to 9 months for new movies. So I think there is a benefit of that one. Lady asks, do you know when we'll get an announcement of The Bad Batch, Mighty Ducks, or Big Shot being renewed or cancelled? If they were going to do that, I would imagine it'd be after the series finishes, when there's kind of still sort of excitement around it. That's what they did with High School Musical. They don't do it automatically at the same time. It looks like the Mighty Ducks seems to be doing quite well in the streaming, so I'm hoping that one might return. I'm really hoping Big Shot kind of it depends on the numbers. I mean, and how they feel about it. I'm really enjoying Big Shot. I hope it does get picked up for a second season. I would hope by now they've got an idea of it, but it would be nice. They've not really announced anything regarding renewals. I see here my VCR still works, as is Prop Culture been renewed. There's been no mention of it. I'm really hoping they do. We have got the Upfront event happening on Tuesday this week, where Disney will be showcasing a lot of new shows that will be coming to their networks, like ABC, FX. They'll also have the Disney Channel, I think, in there as well, and Hulu. Now, they have said a little bit about Disney Plus. They might throw in a few little curveballs there, but it's really about getting advertisements for those shows, not necessarily about us, the viewer. It's more about getting advertisers. So there could be something coming up. I really hope Prop Culture. Prop Culture seems like a perfect Disney Plus show to kind of showcase what's going on there. Johnny T asks, do you think 2022 will be another big year for Disney Plus? Will we be getting at least 3 new Marvel shows, 2 Star Wars shows? I think 2022 was going to be a big year. I think we're in that zone now. We're just going to be having big hits, just dropping multiple times. I think we'll be getting more than 1 Star Wars series a year. Definitely getting multiple Marvel shows, and then it's just getting the other stuff in there. Like you say, Willow. Just we need a little bit more variety. It's a little bit too reliant on Star Wars and Marvel right now. Joe asks, so excited for Cruella only 2 weeks ago. I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of okay on Cruella. But let me know in the comments below, and also on the live chat, if you're excited for Cruella or if you're going to wait for it to be on Disney Plus. We've also got here, so we've got some. So NYCKMP has asked, I'm not surprised AT&T wants to go for the assets of Discovery. Disney has Nat Geo and Viacom CBS has Smithsonian. The documentary series has an audience out there. I literally was just reading in this just before we went live. So yeah, there are a lot of talks that AT&T could be kind of working on a deal or even buy out Discovery. I think that would make a massive improvement if they could get this Discovery Plus inside of HBO Max. That would be a massive, massive move. And I think we're at that point where we need some consolidation. I know a lot of people don't like those kind of things, but I would love to see. I think we need some consolidation. Some of the smaller ones being chewed up by the big ones. You know, we've seen it with like the WWE Network. Yeah, so it's definitely, I think, something that I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Do you see Disney investing more in documentaries under Nat Geo? Yes, I think they're full in on Nat Geo. I think the thing is as well with Nat Geo is does very well on documentaries for older audiences, which are still generally watching television. So they're still kind of focused on the network rather than on. I don't think Disney Plus is pulling in enough people on documentaries at the minute. I think they really need to work on doing a bit more work on appealing to non-family members. But yeah, Nat Geo is a great thing. Um, Okay, so we've got some more questions here. So, the random movie fan is how become the right stuff came to Disney Plus when it's rated 14 in America? I think it would have been on here. Well, it was Disney Plus always was 14 plus. They and the Mandalorian stuff. They always had said that. They just weren't going to go beyond 14 plus. It's just they're a little bit kind of wishy washy on kind of some of the 14 ones, but they always said there was going to be 14 plus. Joe says, when is the alligator people coming to Disney Plus, and how is your weekend going? My weekends, I've been kind of doing some real life work, so I've been working, so it's no different. So as far as the alligator people, I would have thought it would be coming on soon. I don't see why we didn't get it at the same time. I expect it to be pretty soon. If it's already on Disney Plus, it's just a case of doing a little toggle to get it. I expect. Lady Jennifer Snow said she's excited for Cruella. That's good. That's pretty good. My VCR is also looking forward to it. Joe said it's so hard to stop seeing trailers for Cruella everywhere. I just go on Instagram and see it everywhere because I want to see them. See, I get to a point when usually after the first trailer drops, I don't watch any more trailers on YouTube. I don't really use Instagram as much as I should do. I really like Twitter and mainly Twitter is my main one. So you can follow us over at like Disney Plus News. So yeah, I must admit, I haven't watched any of the new trailers for Cruella for a while. Mick said, according to Deadline, Rebel has been cancelled. Yes, that was one of the ones that they put out just before the upfronts. I'm really disappointed with that one because why they didn't wait and see how it does internationally, because it might pick up steam on Star and it could be worth it. I feel like the Americans obviously weren't tuning in enough for it, so they don't have got a faith in it. It would have been nice to have got it maybe at the same time as America, so we could have had the buzz. Because unfortunately now we know it's coming in 2 weeks' time to start on Disney Plus in Australia and UK. I'll be honest. If you're in the comments, are you less likely to watch it now that it's been cancelled? That's a thing that I feel like for me. I know with Next and Hellstrom and also Filthy Rich, I just was like, I've watched a few episodes, but like because it's cancelled, I just lost interest and like, well, there's no point in watching too much of this. John asks, what are the chances in the future do we think we'll have Star Wars shows and MC shows releasing in the same week? I think it's going to get more and more likely. I mean, we're going to have it with Bad Batch and Loki anyway. But as far as, I think they're probably going to keep them separate. I think they're going to try and, I think they are very much the same audience, so I think they'll try and keep them a bit separate. John asks, do you think there will be a Fox Searchlight section in Disney Plus Star? It's funny because I was on there earlier and I was looking through and I noticed on Nomadland they've kind of definitely made a little logo about Searchlight Pictures. I would have liked them to have done that, but I think Star, I would like them to go, when you go into Star, you have like a 20th Century Studio section, a Searchlight, an ABC. I would like that to make it a little bit easier, but I can't see them adding a tile across there. I think Star was the whole point of that one. And Johnny T said, "Do you think do we'll ever get a 20th century?" Oh yeah, so literally mixing. I think it's just they're not worried so much about that brand. I don't think they're so looking forward to it in the same way that we kind of look at it, which is strange. Okay, let's jump into some more questions from the pre ones. So Kaylin asks, I know Jungle Cruise is going to be on Premier Access, while Free Guy and Shang-Chi are going to be exclusive 45-day windows. Is Premier Access going to be a case-by-case basis? It feels to me like they're not out the woods during the pandemic. Completely agree. My thing for this is, what is it going to happen in the winter? What is going to happen when we go back into, when people start mixing, people start staying indoors, especially, in America and in Europe when it starts getting cold again. I wouldn't like to say it's over. As much as I would like it to be, I'm not 100%. And it depends if the audiences go back. If Black Widow and Jungle Cruise and Cruella do nicely on Premier Access, it could stay around. If the box office numbers don't go back to pre 2019, that will be an issue. If they never go back to those, I think Disney wanted to, but Bob Chapek was saying the other day in the investors call, they've got 3 systems, and I think if those 3 movies do well, there's a better chance of them being shifted over. They might. I think Free Guy will go first to see if Free Guy doesn't work, Shang-Chi doesn't, and also if Black Widow doesn't work in terms of how many people are watching it, and it doesn't work, Shang-Chi will change. If that's the way I'm looking at that one. Connor asks, following the delay of Star Plus in Latin America and the dispute with Stars, do you think Disney should launch the Star Hub on Disney Plus and launch ESPN in the countries in question? For me, I'm 100% in agreement with this. I think like Latin America should have got Star the same as Europe and America, and like Canada and Australia. And ESPN Plus should have been the start. That was been my way of doing it, but it looks like what they're doing with Star is they've kind of rebranded all their television networks, and there must be a reason. But I think it would have been better just to have the sports and then Disney Plus be the same as everywhere, because I think Disney Plus with Star is so superior. It's such a better product, and it's exactly what I think they need to do everywhere. And I completely agree on that one. So Casey asks, if Disney says C Star will help reduce the churn in EU, what can they do in the US to help what seems to be keeping Hulu separate? Should some shows be shared? Yeah, so he said, Bob Chapek said that the churn rate in Europe has declined with the addition of Star, which doesn't surprise me. But also it's a bit hard to tell because we kind of went one division Falcon, and then we've kind of got a few weeks for Loki. So the amount of people dropping in and out would be nowhere near the same as like when Mandalorian ended, and then there was 10 months to Mandalorian 2. So there was a big gap. We've not had that, but I think the chances of people holding on to it is much higher now. You're watching multiple shows with multiple originals, and there's going to be a lot more on there. It's just a better value, so I can completely see why they did that one. So moving on from there, so Connor asks, should Disney streamline their direct-to-consumer business in the long term? Disney now could easily become integrated into Disney Plus with new episodes dropping after its broadcast. Hulu become the live TV service with the Disney-owned content moved to Star internationally. Hotstar could remain a home of premium Asian content outside of Asia, with Disney Plus Hotstar remaining the main event in those countries. For me personally, I would like to see. In my mind, it would be Disney Plus with Star for everybody, everywhere, and then ESPN Plus is the sports stuff. That would be how I would do it. I would keep the sports separate, because for me as a non-sports person, there's no point me paying a premium like $15-20 for HBO or anything like that to have all the sport. Sport is separate. So I think the trouble is Hulu is doing well. You got to think there's like 40 million subscribers to it in the US. It makes a lot of money with advertising, so it's still making money. So we could see a kind of hybrid model. I wouldn't surprise me if we see, Hulu become something different once, but they got to get that Comcast. So I think that as far as Hotstar, I think they've kind of got a brand in those countries that is so strong that they've kind of latched Disney Plus onto it. Okay, let's jump now into the live chat, see what's going on over here. So we have got, see where we are. So Joe said he's still going to watch Cruella, but is annoyed. Also, Rebel is still going to watch it, but just annoyed it's been cancelled. The trailer's so good, can't wait to watch it on May 28th. Yeah, it's one of those situations, and it's pretty tricky. Joe also said, so happy that Jungle Cruise is coming to Disney Plus Premier Access. Look, I'm really looking forward to Jungle Cruise. I'm not so. The ride's not great. It's kind of not amazing. But it's got The Rock. It's got that sort of Pirates of the Caribbean vibe. John asked, do you think shows like American House South will be on Star UK now it's been cancelled? Haven't seen season 5 yet. Well, in Australia and New Zealand, American Housewife is actually a Star original. And they got Mixed Dish as well, which also got cancelled. So it's not available on any streaming service over here. So I would like to see it on there. I don't see why not. I think now we're at 5 seasons and just drop the lot. It's been cancelled. Just let it go. And let it be a Star. Just do all 5 seasons at once and just be like, yeah, here you go. Johnny said, I'm looking forward to seeing Jungle Cruise. Hopefully at the cinema, if it's still open. I live in England, so cinema's open for me. Yes, the cinema's open tomorrow, but I think we're still got to wear masks for that. And they're going to have to do reduced capacity. I will be doing it on Premier Access because it's just more convenient. But Free Guy is the one of like, if coming out in August. I'm I've had both vaccines, so I am fully vaccinated. So I'm probably, if Jungle Cruise and Black Widow were only in cinemas, I probably would maybe pull the trigger. I feel like I'm at that point where I might do that now with numbers in my area being okay. But if I've given the choice, I'm going to go for Premier Access. John said, I hope the Sylvester Stallone classic Oscar comes to Star UK. Yeah, hopefully at some point. John, he said, I can't wait to go back to cinemas, but I think Irish cinemas don't open till June. And there again, if this is the big problem with this whole Premier Access situation, is it's not just the US that's having there's lots of countries having it, and yeah, it's going to be difficult. John then says, has Disney pulled out of buying BT Sport because ITV as well? I've not seen anything flashing up at all about this one. I've heard nothing about it since a week or two ago. So Johnny T said, do you think the show Woke can be a Star original? That's an ABC show. Not quite sure if. Let's just have a look. See, because I think it's a Hulu original. Let's have a look. See who's got the distribution rights to it. So it's ABC and Sony. So therefore, that does change it. Sony might have the international rights to the distribution for it. So that can have an impact on that one. Okay, moving on from there. So Johnny C said, yes, I think Ireland and Northern Ireland have been more cautious with lifting restrictions. It's not a bad thing. I can't help but feel like our restrictions being fully removed at the end of June is getting a bit iffy. Random Movie Fan says, could everyone's hero come to Disney Plus UK since it's there always seems to be a bit of an odd thing with some of the why we don't get Americans. I don't know why we didn't get everyone's hero. Johnny asked, do you think the ABC show Epic will be a different version or a spin-off from Once Upon a Time? It's a brand new show. It's come from the creators, but it's completely fresh. It's not connected to it at all. John asked, when is Free Guy releasing? In some sites saying 21st of May in the UK, and some sites saying August. It'll be August. I think 21st of May was I don't know where that one's come from. It's moved so many times because I think this had so many release dates, but it's definitely August now. Joe said, is there going to be another trailer for Jungle Cruise since it's cut? Yeah, there'll be a Disney Plus. There'll be a new trailer for that one. Let's jump into some of the YouTube questions. Joseph asked, could Roseanne and the Connors ever come to Star, as UK didn't air much here? Wondered if they could go to Star over here. Okay, so this one's actually a little bit difficult because I found an article from Deadline where it said that the Connors and also had a similar international challenges that Roseanne had, because apparently there was a really weird to deal with it where Disney had international sales for the show had only a 1 year first window to close global sales deal, and then the rights revert back to Kersey Warner. So it's a really complicated thing. So a number of international broadcasters like Canada's CTV and Australian 10 and Spain's have acquired the reboots as an unusually complicated broadcast. This is a very complicated one, so it doesn't look like they've got full distribution rights for doing that show. Streamer, as now that Disney has been adding licensed content to Disney Plus in the UK, do you think it's likely that they'll buy out some licensing deal for non-Disney distributed originals like Handmaid's Tale for Disney Plus internationally? I don't think they're going to be buying out. I don't think they'll be doing anything with like the idea of. Yeah, I can't. They are doing licensing deal. They're actually doing it with quite a few different shows already. I think they're going to do more of it, but I don't think they will. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do. They won't be as many as they do with the US, but they're going to be picking up shows left, right, and center. I think the idea is that they don't have to rely on them, but I think it's showing now that there's some that they do need some. So that's definitely a thing. Another question from a streamer: based on what Bob Chapek said in the call about their free distribution models, do you think that this suggests that Premier Access will be a release model they employ for a while post COVID? I think as long as Cruella, Black Widow, and Jungle Cruise are a success, Premier Access will stay around for a while. I don't think they want to do it, but I think they might realize that they might need to do it depending on how the audience reacts. So I do think that one's going to be interesting. Let's jump back now into some of the live comments. So Lady just said, CBS announced that the SEAL Team and Clarice will be on Paramount Plus next season, not on CBS. Do you think Disney will do this with ABC shows, pulling them off ABC and putting them on Disney Plus? So in the US, there is a chance. I think Epic, like we just talked about, I think that was a show that could be yanked away from ABC and put onto Disney Plus if they think it's right. They did it with the right stuff. That was going to be on National Geographic, and they put it onto Disney Plus. Also, Secrets of the Whales was also going to be on National Geographic, and that one got put on to Disney Plus. So I think there's very much case that they could do that. So NYCKMP, are there any plans to do a future podcast with Cord Cutter News? I haven't really thought about it. I did actually. I do follow Cord Cutter News. I've been watching it. I used to watch it. I completely got Luke, when Luke used to do his daily videos, because he was so good at it, and he stepped away, and another company's brought it out. I'm always happy to jump on and do some collaborations and stuff. So yeah, I'd be happy to do something like that. Johnny T asks, when do you think Mixed-ish will land on Disney Plus UK? We have Grownish and Blackish already, and Grownish season 3 being a Star original. So Mixed-ish season 2 is arriving in Australia in the end of this month, and then I think it's going to be weekly releases, and they're just finishing up the second season now. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see it in June, to go along with Grownish. I am having a little bit of an ish. I think I'm just about finishing off season 3 or Blackish, or maybe even gone into season 4. I've plowed through the first 2 seasons of Grownish, and I'm watching Grownish season 3. So I'm going to be honest, I could quite happily have another month just for me, just to catch up on all the seasons. So, but I do think it will be coming very, very soon. And I think it will be original because it's not out over here. Mick said, Handmaid's Tale is a prime original. Yeah, distribution rights are all over the place on that show. It's not necessarily a Hulu original. Let's jump back into some of the other questions. So here we go. So my VCR still works. Says Disney is already playing a month of October with the Muppets Haunted Mansion. Can you see them bringing ABC Fox Family 31 out of 13 nights of Halloween theme block and shows like Scariest Places on Earth to Disney Plus? So 2 things. Disney Plus isn't going to do a block because they don't need to, because they can just do the collections. But I do think we're going to see some more Halloween content dropping around that time. So I can't believe we're talking about Halloween. We've not even got into summer, and already Disney getting ready for Halloween. And when that one all dropped in of the other day of like Halloween special coming in the fall, I'm going, fall? We've not even done the summer yet. So it would be nice to kind of have that one coming at some point. But yeah, I still can't believe we're getting into that one there. So the random movie fan asks, why aren't any of the Latin America shows for Disney not available in the US, since we have a huge Latino population? Do you know what? This is a very good question, and it's one that does drive me a little bit nuts, really. With, you would think that if they've made a show in another country, they would just put it into the library. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. Oh, thank you very much, Matt, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. That is fantastic. Really appreciate that one. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, so as far as like Latino shows, I would love them to do it with all the originals. Put them up there. Just have them with subtitles. Don't have to. I prefer them with dubbing. Put them on there. Just put them out there. Put them so we can all see everything. It feels like they don't want to go down that line and water, but I think they should definitely do at least subtitles. It makes no sense of why not. I mean, it should be able to do it. And with some of the Latin, some of these shows, especially the documentaries, you can't help but feel like they could just like do their own like audio over the top, and suddenly you've got their own show. So it makes a lot more sense. So Matt just jumped in with another super chat. What happened to the Through the Disney Decades on Disney Plus? It disappeared. Yeah, so that one, what seems to happen with that one? That one went right when Star launched internationally. That one seemed to like vanish off it, and I really hope they bring it back, because since they brought Star in, and it also affected the US, they took it away. I think to help with stabilizing the servers, because a lot of if you go in there and you're pulling in lots of information, is obviously hurting on the channel on it. And with WandaVision and Falcon, they took it all off. I hope they bring it back. I hope they come up with a better way of doing it. Maybe do it as a collection each decade. I would really love them to do something like that, because I feel like that was such a missed opportunity. I would love them to start an A to Z, just so they can find everything. So much, because at the minute it's quite hard browsing what you want to watch. Is not as easy as it was before. But again, thank you very much, Matt, for that super chat. I really do appreciate that one. Okay, so let's jump now back into some of the questions. Yeah, so Latin content, I'd love to see more of that. Random Movie Fan also asked, will Funimation Crunchyroll be part of Disney's deal with Sony? Joshua then jumped in and said, this assumes that the deal between Sony and Crunchyroll has been greenlit, as I heard it's still being looked into by the Department of Justice. So I did have a look at this myself just before we went live. Yeah, the deal hasn't gone through yet, and I would imagine it won't be included in the Disney deal because it was done with Sony Pictures, which is a different department. But also Crunchyroll and Funimation, this kind of become this own little niche streaming service. But yeah, so John asked, do you think we'll get more languages on subtitles on Disney Plus? I think we'll get more of them as the more countries start rolling out, because you got to think this is the other issue of when they launch in a country, and they got a lot of stick for what happened in Iceland, where they launch in a country and most of it isn't even in the native language. So they're going to have to do more of this, and it would make sense if they're putting the track on, just put it on everywhere. So I think we are going to see a lot more languages, especially with subtitles. And I hope they do it with more dubbed. I mean, I've been really enjoying, we've been enjoying two shows on Netflix, I think it's Lupin and Money Heist. They've been great shows. Okay, so Mick asked, Joe asked, when is Le Mans 66 coming to Disney Plus UK? So I'm hoping it's coming soon, because I have been wanting to watch that movie. I still call it Ford versus Ferrari. I get too used to so it's not available on any streaming platform. It's still on. Oh, it's still on now. So let's have a look. See when it's leaving Sky Cinema on the 8th of September. So I'm imagining we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer before it arrives. Because I so want to watch that movie. I've been wanting to watch for a long time. John asks, when will we get the remaining episodes of Modern Family? I think that's got to leave. They're still on Netflix. That's why we've not got them yet, and there's no date on that one. Johnny T says, do you think the original Under Wraps Disney Channel movie could be added to Disney Plus or Star? I would imagine they're waiting until the reboot that's coming later this year. They're probably going to drop it around the same time for Halloween. That would be my pure guess. I'm guessing it will come onto Disney Plus. John asked, do you think It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia will move over to Star? I believe it's on Netflix. The trouble is with that show, because it's been going for so long, there's a lot of already deals in place, so therefore it's difficult for them. New shows are easier because they can kind of get it all in, but the older shows are much harder. But they have added it in Canada recently, so I imagine it will come over at some point. So John also says, does Fix Show Rescue Me qualify for Star? So let's have a look, see who has Rescue Me. I'm trying to think. I'm sure Yeah, I have seen a few of those episodes. I definitely remember seeing it. But that show is a Sony Pictures one, so no, so that one wouldn't be coming. It was on FX in the US, but it wouldn't be coming over because it was Star. Okay, some other questions. Okay, so Johnny C said, I would love to see more of the local content from other countries such as Latin America and Europe on Disney Plus, even if it's just subtitles and not dubbing. Some of them seem quite interesting. Totally agree. Don't know what it's. I think they're very much in that zone right now of they're trying to keep every. As long as they do put put them, I just like them to put it in the title or in the description that it's subtitled. That's the only thing. Okay, so let's have a look here. So we've done those ones there. Okay, so NYC KMP as I hope Marvel's What If becomes a success for Disney Plus. Would you like to see Marvel Studios do more animated works for the streaming platform? I wouldn't mind a mini series that showcases the 5 year gap in Endgame. I would love to see more. I would love to see more of animated stuff, but I think it's going to be on how well sort of What If does. If you look at how well like Rebels and Clone Wars and hopefully Bad Batch have influenced the Mandalorian, it does show that there's a little bit more that they can do there. So it's definitely something there that they could go into. So Bad Dog Gaming asks, what show are you most looking forward to in May on the Disney Plus? So, uh, so I've been really, it's that kind of thing. Obviously we're now halfway through May, so I was really looking forward to Bad Batch. I'm really looking forward. I'm really enjoying that one. High School Musical is a lot of fun. Rebel is another show that I'm looking forward to watching, and then you got MODOK, which I can talk about tomorrow. So I'm not going to talk about MODOK now. So I'll speak about that one tomorrow when the embargo breaks. And I think yeah. So MODOK was definitely one that we'll do, but I'm not going to go any more into that one. Um, so my VCR still works. Is there any updates on the Rock's $7 production show behind the attraction? Yes, there was one. According to the D23 website magazine, they are having a summer issue, and in that issue, there's a little bit of information about the show. So it looks like it's coming at this summer, and I think it's probably going to land around at the same time as the Jungle Cruise, because I think that'll be a nice little tie-in with the attraction, which is obviously the movie based on. Lady asks, after this week's investor call, I still think Disney Plus and Hulu need more content. Do you have an idea of when Alien or Shogun will be coming to Hulu? While I love Marvel and Star Wars, Disney need to spread their wings and branch out. Completely agree. Disney Plus needs a lot more choice. So as far as Hulu getting Alien and Shogun, and that'll come to Star as well. There's been no dates at all. Nothing there mentioned in the slightest about them. And Mick asks, do you think there'll be a Hulk solo film for Phase 5 that's being reported online and not by Marvel? The problem is with a Hulk movie is we do get a problem with the rights to that movie is if they do a solo movie, Universal has to distribute it. Whereas if they do it as an extra character, they don't. So that's why you've seen him become like a sidekick character. So I don't think we'll see a solo one for that one there. Let's jump back into the live chat. So the Random Movie Fan asks, when they add a Marvel Vintage Collection, yeah, they kind of already got it. I think you could just put a little collection. I don't feel they use collections enough. I think they could do a little bit more of that one there. So Joe asks, when is Underwater coming to Disney Plus UK? So let's have a quick look, see if we've got a quick idea, a rough idea. So Underwater. We actually we rented this one earlier this year. It's actually a really fun movie. So it's currently on at Now TV. This seems to be the issue with a lot of the. So it's on there till October. So I think it's not going to be leaving Sky Cinema. I don't think we'll be having it till later this year. That's a really good movie. It's I really enjoyed that one. Wasn't expecting a lot from it, but yeah, it's definitely it's a bit different. In my head, it's a lot more realistic than like the Meg, but the Meg is a lot of fun. Not that it's a Disney movie. So Johnny T asks, do Disney have the rights to any of the older Marvel rights, or is it mixed up studios, for example, Blade Trilogy or Daredevil? So I think it's all going to depend on the movie. I think like obviously like Daredevil was a 20th Century Fox movie. Blade I think was New Line Cinema if I remember rightly. There's a very higgledy-piggledy lineup, and it's all everything's separate. And yeah, they have got some rights and stuff, but I think most of them are doing it. And do you think a Hulk TV series is better than a movie? See, I grew up on the Incredible Hulk live action series, and I used to watch it everywhere. And kind of no, kind of. He hardly ever. He used to turn bed. He used to, as a kid, just used to be waiting for him to become the Hulk. I'm going to be interested to see how She-Hulk works out, but I don't know if there's enough they can do it now, and I don't think Mark Ruffalo would. I think they'd want to do a much more serious series. I don't know if they can even do it as a solo one, but yeah, it would be good. So Joe then says, when you get the list for June in Ireland, will it also be New Mutants? When will you get the list for the June for the UK and Ireland, and also when is the New Mutants coming to Disney Plus UK and Ireland? As far as the list goes, so it's all changed since Star launched, because what happened then was things were happening. So what we were getting was generally the US tends to come out on or around the 15th of the month in the US. It has been as late as the 20th. Usually it's the middle of the week. So like the 15th this time was yesterday on a Saturday. It wouldn't necessarily drop there. So it could happen any day this week. We're going to get the US drop. Once the US drops, then you will find the UK one will usually come after that. So I'm expecting it that this week I'm going to be on tenterhooks pretty much all day, every day this week, waiting for that UK list to drop. It will usually drop at the most inconvenient time for me possible. That's usually whenever those drop, it's just, it's hours and hours then of sorting bits and pieces out and articles and updating things, making videos, editing. There's a lot of work, so it's usually at that point when I've got as much of it as I need to do. Right, okay, so I think, just looking here through all of our questions, so yeah, we have done all of our questions, so we've got 4 more minutes left on the live chat before we wrap this one up. Again, thank you very much for all of your questions and supporting us. Really does make a massive deal. Hope you guys all enjoy the live chats. Seems to be very popular on Sunday nights for me, and it's a great way of communicating and just talking to everyone and kind of doing something. And also, I like to put it out to everyone rather than just Patreons and YouTube channel members, so everyone can watch it and kind of get involved in stuff. So I do tend to like to put it out there for everyone, so that's good. Quick note as well, I have been putting out the movie club reviews. They're going on to their own separate podcast feed. So I've using my old podcast feed of the Diz Kingdom podcast. So I'm going to be moving all of the podcasts, all the retro reviews over onto its own feed and kind of pushing that separately. And obviously YouTube channel members and patrons do get access to those a little bit earlier than everyone else. There was going to be one out today, but I've decided to hold it back while I'm sorting out the RS feed this week. So there'll be because otherwise I don't want to get it lost. But that's what I've been doing. So that's why there was no retro review. Members have already had access to it, but I'm going to hold it back for a week until I've got the RS sorted for the new feed. So you can just find it separately. I'm going to leave the What's on Disney Plus podcast. That'll be the only thing going up on that one there. Okay, so my VCR still works. Do you think we will get any classic shows for the month of June? Yes, I think we're definitely in that zone now. We're getting at least a couple of library content every single month. What it is, I couldn't possibly guess. Joe said, when is Kingsman: The Golden Circle coming to Disney Plus in the UK? So, because it's already available on some places in, I think, like Australia and Canada. So it's not on any services right now. So it could theoretically turn up at any point. So there's no time I can give you to have a guess. But yeah, so again, a huge thank you to everyone. Again, check out yesterday's What's on Disney Plus podcast. Me and James, go through all of the Disney Plus originals. We also talked about all the stuff from the Investors Day. So big thank you for if you've checked that one out. So tomorrow, my plan is there'll be a MODOK video going up with the review of the first episode. And I think I'll be doing a video about all of the potential new Star originals that were greenlit last week. Okay, so on that note, guys, Thank you very much again. If you just got to, another big another super chat from Matt. Thank you very much for your support, Matt. That's been a massive help with all of your support today. That really does make a massive difference. But yeah, okay. So Joe said, what do you think of the news supposedly that Netherlands Studios is developing a new Marvel versus DC game? Paris, I mean the NetherRealm games. I've played through the Injustice games. They are fantastic, fantastic fighting games. I would love it. I don't know if they would do a Marvel versus DC. I think if they just did a Marvel game, I think I'd be 100% on board with that one. Yeah, that game would be fun. I mean, Marvel versus Capcom is fun, but what I really love about the Injustice games is the story element to it, and it's like a good single player campaign. So that's what I like with my fighting games. I like this kind of just to go through and do. So I liked playing through but jumping in and doing like this online version is not for me. I like the campaign, and I think Marvel versus Capcom, the last one and the last few, you can flash through them pretty quickly. So I wasn't able to do it. Oh, hello to Jay Blue. Thank you very much for becoming a member. And also thank you very much to Lady Jennifer for your super chat. Yeah, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for all of your support. Really does make a massive help for all of this. So yeah, can't thank you enough. Thank you. Really do appreciate all of that. Right. On that note, thank you very much to everyone for tuning in for this live chat. Thank you for putting in all of your questions in advance. There'll be another post going up in the week with all your questions. Again, a huge thank you to Matt and Lady Jennifer for your super chats, and thank you very much to Jay Blue for becoming a member. Thank you to everyone that was joined in, and I shall see you guys in another episode. Thank you very much.